The policy chief of the ruling Liberal Democratic Party says the government and the party hope to decide on a new basic energy plan by the end of March. Sanae Takaichi made a remark during an NHK TV program on Sunday. She said the LDP has promised to create a suitable environment for restarting reactors when the Nuclear Regulation Authority confirms their safety. All 48 commercial reactors in the country are currently offline.
The Japanese economy is recovering thanks to the Abenomics. If stable supplies of electricity cannot be secured for a reasonable cost, companies will avoid Japan and people's daily lives will become more difficult.
The Trade Ministry is expected to submit the draft of a new energy plan to the party in about 1 week for discussion. But some lawmakers from the ruling party said greater use should be made of renewable energy. Others said a plan should be drawn up to completely phase out nuclear power in the future.
The operator of the destroyed Fukushima Daiichi nuclear plant says it's found the latest sources of water leaks. They are at 7 locations in a barrier that surrounds tanks holding contaminated water. Tokyo Electric Power Company officials said they confirmed on Sunday that water had leaked from the barrier near the number 4 reactor. It's one of 30 barriers in the compound. The officials said about 19.2 tons of water leaked. They believe it seeped into the ground. They detected 23 becquerels per liter of radioactive strontium-90 in water still inside the barrier. The level is below the national standard for the discharge of contaminated water into the sea, but is 2.3 times the standard for discharging from the barriers. Heavy rains last October caused the barriers to overflow. That prompted the utility to raise the height of the barriers. The officials said the leaks occurred at connections between steel plates used to raise the height of the barrier and from where piping was installed in plates.
I'm at Kisai High School in Kazo, a city in northern Saitama Prefecture. In March 2011, on the heels of the nuclear accident, some 1,400 residents from the town of Futaba and Fukushima took shelter in this vacant school. This shelter was unique. It housed the entire township of Futaba, including the government and the assembly. Kazo is 200 kilometers from Futaba town, which is home to the Fukushima Daiichi nuclear power plant. 96% of the town's residents lived in the red zone. It has high levels of radioactive contamination, making it difficult for people to return. The residents quickly fled here. The mayor at the time had advised them to get as far away from the damaged plant as possible. Younger evacuees later moved on to temporary housing in Fukushima and other places. Most who remained at the shelter were elderly. The evacuees had hoped to return home someday. They'd pinned their hopes on the personal ties, the unique mini-community they created here. But in May 2013, the Japanese government determined that returning to Futaba would be difficult in the long term. Then in June, the temporary town hall that had supported the evacuees moved back to Fukushima Prefecture. Soon after they learned that the shelter itself would be shut, authorities made the decision with the health of elderly occupants in mind. Older occupants were about to lose the mini hometown they had created. Once again, they were under pressure to find a place to stay.
After the meltdowns at Tokyo Electric Power Company's Fukushima Daiichi nuclear power plant, all 7,000 of Futaba town's residents were forced to evacuate. Many of them took shelter 200 kilometres away in Saitama Prefecture. So did employees of the town hall. 1,400 evacuees moved into vacant Kisai High School. This wholesale evacuation took the townspeople to a different part of Japan, far away from the crippled nuclear plant. The mayor at the time made the decision.
I would like to pray for the early resolution of the crisis and the recovery of the clean environment, so that we can go back to our good old Futaba, a town blessed with mountains and rivers, as well as the beautiful ocean.
Kyoko Izawa belongs to the town's senior citizens group. She was one of the evacuees.
We moved from place to place with the town hall, from Kawamata town in Fukushima to Saitama Super Arena, and now here. I believe we can go back to Futaba town.
Says more than 50% of homes outside Fukushima Prefecture have undergone decontamination following the March 2011 nuclear accident. Officials at Japan's Environment Ministry say nearly 80,000 homes had the government-funded work done at the end of last year. The figure represents 59% of homes marked for decontamination in 58 municipalities. The number is more than 13,000 higher from the previous survey 4 months earlier. The rate has exceeded 50% for the first time and is partly attributed to increased cleanup efforts. Officials say more homes were found not to have needed decontamination after being monitored for radiation. Many municipalities outside of Fukushima Prefecture plan to finish the decontamination by the end of next month.
In May 2013, shelter occupants received some shocking news. Hideko had gotten permission to visit her home. While there, she saw how the town had changed.
In front of my eyes, there were many tanks holding contaminated water. I could see reactors 5 and 6 behind them. I realized just what kind of place we'd been living in. I can't go back again. Not even if I wanted to.
This is Futaba town as Hideko saw it. Tank after tank for storing radioactive water had been set up near her home. In May 2013, the Japanese government designated most of Futaba a so-called return difficult zone and told residents that it would be hard for them to go home for a long
A record amount of snow blanketed Tokyo and surrounding areas from Friday through early Saturday morning. The snowfall also caused serious traffic disruptions and several fatalities. 11 people died and more than 1,200 people suffered injuries. Snow-related accidents included a train collision that occurred shortly after midnight Friday on the Tokyu-Toyoko line in Kanagawa Prefecture just outside Tokyo. The collision injured 19 passengers. Heavy snow has also made many sections of expressways in and around Tokyo impassable. On the Tome Expressway linking Tokyo and Aichi Prefecture, vehicles remained virtually stranded for more than 20 hours in Shizuoka Prefecture. The traffic jam stretched for about 40 kilometers. Railway services have also been affected. Shinkansen bullet train services have been suspended wholly or partially on lines linking Tokyo with Nagano sent to Japan, Niigata on the Japan seacoast, and Yamagata in the northeast. Many people were also stranded at airports. Airlines have cancelled more than 800 domestic flights. The Tokyo Electric Power Company says blackouts caused by heavy snow affected more than 20,000 homes in 7 prefectures, mainly in the Kanto region. Weather officials forecast heavy snow along the Pacific coast of Tohoku through Sunday and are also warning of strong winds and avalanches.
Today at the Waste Isolation Pilot Plant, also known as WIP, we're told an air monitor detected radiation underground. WIP officials are checking out the scene to figure out what to do next. Nobody who was working was contaminated. A little more than a week ago, WIP leaders were dealing with another issue. A salt truck caught fire nearly half a mile underground. All the workers were evacuated. 6 of them went to the hospital for smoke inhalation. The plant was shut down for a few days after that fire. The WIP site stores leftovers of nuclear weapons, research, and testing.